What's going on? Money Morning Live. Always nice hanging out with 8 Baller in the main room, talking about what's going on Saturday with Kenny. Everybody should be joining that one. But right now we're going to be hanging out with Tom Gentile as he pulls in power profit trades. Let's start this one up in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey everyone, Tom Gentile. Welcome to Power Profit Trades, Monday, April 11th, 2022. Well, we got a lot to cover today. It is Microcurrency Monday, but I want to cover all the markets. I want to talk about some trigger trades we got going on in the near future. I want to talk about what we're getting ready for. What we're getting ready for, if you didn't know, is earnings are right around the corner. Okay, we're going to be talking about that. In fact, earnings reports are already starting, but not for me. The big ones, the good names, the profitable ones, well, they're starting here real soon. All right, so we are kicking off earnings season right now. But what I'm going to be looking at and what I'm going to be sharing with you, not only today, but this week, is 22 different names that we're looking at. I just actually had a trigger event, Eric. I want to talk about that too. But man, hey, how was your weekend, Eric? Hadn't talked to you since last week.
I know the weekend was great, man. It was, my weekends are all sports with the kids. They're young, 5 and 9, so it's just about sports. But you seem like you had a busy weekend yourself. What were you up to?
God, yeah, I did. I got to be the dumbest rich guy on the planet. And I'll tell you why. Because, you know this, and some of you guys know, I'm moving, okay? We're moving into a new house. We're getting into more the country, all right? Kind of spreading out a little bit. And, do these look like the fingers of somebody who should be handling large boxes and furniture? No, they shouldn't be.
Well, you did this weekend.
Yeah, you know what? I hired people. And the problem is that it's so busy down here that movers, the guy says, I got 2 days for you in the month of April. So this is coming up in about 2 more weeks. It's after Easter. And of course, my wife, who likes to do things now, says, let's get a truck and let's get the family and we can move a lot of it ourselves. So here you go. There's the keys, U-Haul, baby. And man, my fingers are hurting, my toes are hurting, my feet.
Oh, man.
I don't think there's a part of my body that's not hurting after this weekend. But yeah, we did a lot of the big heavy lifting, and now she's, got to take care of the boxes and stuff, and we still got a lot left to do.
It's like the olden days, Tom. Remember the olden days when you had to move yourself, and
yes,
it's like that. You're just bringing it back.
And you know what I've also learned? When you live in a place we've been living in the same place now for 8, 9 years, you accumulate a lot of stuff. And so, we're going to be talking about stuff on this show this week. And, we don't want to accumulate too much stuff in the world of trading and what we do here. So, guys, I got a lot to cover with you today. Trigger events. Hey, let's start off with the big volatility winner that happened here just recently. We got a cryptocurrency winner to talk about later too, but let's talk about this Lockheed Martin trade that we did on Surge Strike. It was a 4-day trade, about 150% winner. And I want to show everybody this whole thing kind of from not only from the point of exit, but I want to show you how to set up that point of exit too. So in on Monday, out on Friday, not the typical trade that we get. Typically these things last maybe a little more than a week, but this one, we had to jump out of it at the end of last week. So, Eric, set up that image on Surge Strike, if you would, please.
Oh, yeah, we got it up there ready to go. It's talking about grab your profits on LMT now, highlighted brightly. This was from April 8th, 2022. Action to take, sell to close. The LMT April 22nd, $445 call for a limit price of $27.55. Then you had Lockheed Martin ran up fast and hard, and this hit our 150% profit target well before earnings in 11 days. So was that unexpected to be? I mean, it was before you were expecting. So that's a positive thing for you, Tom.
I mean, we picked these. When you look at the April 22nd option, we were looking at this as a 2-week opportunity. What we do is, well, Brutus will go out there and it will find high probability patterns. And it looks at price, time, and it looks at the pattern as well. So when we were looking at Lockheed Martin, we were looking at that as a 2-week trade. We did not expect this one to mature until really after Easter. And then we were supposed to see this thing jump up. We didn't expect it to jump as fast as it did. Now, the other thing, too, is that you got to look at this because this is a defensive trade. And the defensive trade went up into last week. You know, you look at people that, if I didn't say this was a call option trade, 9 out of 10 of you in the room here, whether you're with me on Monday Morning Live or YouTube, 9 out of 10 of you would have said, oh, he must have had puts. No, this was a bullish trade. It was a bullish trade in the right sector, pattern probability. Most people didn't even see it. Surge Strike members saw it. And so we put that in there. Here's what to do. We said sell to close. So we gave them the buy to open on Monday. We gave them the sell to close. But we had already targeted this one for 150% returns. So if you put your order in, and this is what we talk about all the time, you put your order in as a day-only order. So we get in day only, and then you can immediately place your order to get out as a good till canceled. And so I want to bring that up here in just a moment. But I mean, you know, this is what we're doing, guys. You know, we did a special session last Tuesday, and that was my trigger event trading strategy. How many of you in the room, who's in here right now, both on YouTube and Monday Morning Live, who missed my special last week on Tuesday? Please show me some noise. Make some noise in the chat if you missed last Tuesday. All right. Jim says me. Big back me. Just me. A couple members. John, a lot of you guys missed it. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something tomorrow called I'm going to set you guys up for tomorrow real quick. So how many of you, this is going to show some age in the room real quick. All right. How many of you in here know what backmasking is? Backmasking. It does not involve masking tape, but how many of you know what backmasking is? Do you remember that? Heavy metal bands. Remember when I used to, when we thought they put some secret message on an album, and if you ran the album in reverse, you'd hear it go.
Oh, I remember that, Tom. Is that backmasking? No one in the chat knows that, and neither did I. But now I do.
Yeah, you take those old Judas Priest albums, run those in reverse, and you might hear something. Led Zeppelin, I think they were accused of it too. I don't think you really could. None of that really happened. But if you ran it backwards, maybe you heard something. Ozzy Osbourne, I think, was part of that too. Black Sabbath, you're right. Black Sabbath was accused of it. Anyway, we're going to do some backmasking tomorrow with our Operation Surge Strike. Okay, tune in. I think you're going to kind of enjoy it. All right. It'll also fill in the gaps for those of you that missed last Tuesday, because I want to show you 22 stocks that are coming up on the radar that we're looking at as surge opportunities. So that's the plan. All right. And Mike Wade, who's one of the smartest guys in the volatility biz, he tracks this market constantly with my custom software. And we're looking at what we consider, thousands of companies are going to report earnings. We have a couple dozen that we've got on the radar. Okay. And I'll give you those dates and I'll give you those times. And I'm actually going to go in tomorrow and get really hot with these. We'll go into each stock, each earnings date, all right, each trigger event that we see happening. So we'll talk about that. So if you missed the LMT trade, all right, and you want to jump in early, then Eric, if you could throw a link up there on the screen and a phone number of how these folks can get in on our next opportunity, that'll be great. And I want to show you how to get out of this too. I'm going to take a look at that in a second. Earnings season's far from over. It's just getting started. And a lot of you in here, whether you're part of Operation Surge Strike or not, were part of the Rivian trade that we gave out to everybody. That was a quick 50% winner. And so calendar stacking up. We got a lot of stuff happening. And I will talk about this in strategy in detail using our backmasking All right, I'm going to do that tomorrow at 11:30. That'll be our trigger event Tuesday. Okay. Now, our team's sending out these custom alerts in real time. So don't wait around. If you want to be part of Operation Surge Strike, you know how to get there, guys. Right now, let's talk about the markets. And then I want to go back to LMT. And we'll talk about how you close that out and how you close anything out with what's called a GTC order. If you don't know what a GTC order is, just hang with me for a few minutes. We'll get there. Eric, let's throw my screen up and let's talk about these markets a bit.
Let's do it, Tom.
So I've got right now SPY up on the screen. And I'm looking at SPY. And what I see here is I see just candles. I've got red and green candles. Yep, this is good. Everybody can get this. I have some dotted lines on the screen too. These dotted lines that run from left to right are what I like to call stock chart peak lines. What these look for are peak support and peak resistance based on past support resistance numbers. And we dot those lines across. The ones that are down here near the bottom, these are the blue lines. These are peak support. The ones at the top are peak resistance. As you can see, we have some peak resistance that occurred back in February. All right, we have a dotted line which gives us peak resistance from just a few weeks ago in March. And then I've got a peak resistance level number up here that takes us all the way back to really the beginning of 2022. So that's what we're seeing when we look across the screen. Right now on the support side, we have support that starts around just below 440. That was a peak support line that happened in February. We have a lower peak support that happened in both February and early March. And then we have that bottom line support level. Now, these are based on closing prices, folks. So if you see this dotted line down here, you go, wait a minute, Tom, that line's off. It should be down here. No, that's the open. That's the close. This dotted line is looking at these closes that are happening here in the month of March. We've bounced up. We hit some resistance. We pulled back. We're getting close to some peak support that is happening just below the 440 level. This could be a good area of support. You know, the question that I put out, and I stuck it in both the Money Morning Live posts, and also I pushed it on YouTube as well. And let me find it. Let me read it to everybody. So if you see the announcements, it says down here, it says, are assets now in a free fall? Or is this a buying opportunity we're looking for? Okay, then it says join me at 11:30 a.m., which you're here for. So really, are assets in a free fall? I can tell you right now by looking at my chart here, and you're looking at SPY, we are dropping below last week's lows, right? This is a very critical point. We get out of here and we close below these two lows here, then we're definitely going to be coming down and hitting these peak support levels. Obviously, this one's first, and then we've got this one second. Where are they once again? Just below 440 and just above 430. These are peak support points the market is likely to draw itself to. This is SPY. I could do this with QQQ. I could do this with DIA. In fact, let's just look at DIA for a moment. And let's just take a look and see what's happening with it. Kind of the same thing. We've got some really good double line support levels sticking from last week's low. And, you know, we are off that high. So if you or off those lows. So if you take a look at the Dow Jones, it is stronger today. In fact, if you were to look at where the markets are right now, Dow's down about 0.5 percentage point. The S&P's down a full percentage point, and the NASDAQ's down $1.50 in terms of percentage points. NASDAQ's leading the way lower. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Let's look at the QQQ and look at peak support and peak resistance. Peak support for the or peak resistance for the Qs above 400 back in November and then again in late December, early January. Right? Peak support was in late February and middle of March. Where have we gone to? We came right up to these resistance levels. We've fallen off. Look where we are today. We are hitting peak support at and just above the 340 mark for the QQQ. All right, is this a potential bounce area to bounce? Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't like to catch falling knives. That's not the business I'm in as a trader. But it is interesting to see these gravitate and kind of get an idea where they go next. For me, if I want to be long the Qs, I want to see what they do tomorrow, not today. I'd like to see us hold here. But if we can get above today's high tomorrow, then that looks like a potential short-term bounce. All right. Obviously, time will tell. But again, back to where we started, which was SPY. Let's move from here. Let's see what the hubbub is about with the stock market. And I can tell you, I don't have to go more than one chart from here, Eric, and we can see exactly what's going on.
Sounds good.
Here's your bond market, making new support as we know it. Interest rates are going up. Bond yields are going up. Bond prices are going down. Now, what has this got to do with the economy? All right. Let's talk about home sales for a moment. All right. So real estate, out of control for a lot of people, out of control. I mean, you look at 30-year loan a month ago was around the 3% level. Now it's above 4.5%. It's the difference of if you had let's call it a $300,000 mortgage, you're paying now about 10 to 12% more in monthly payments than you were if you locked that rate in last month and locked that loan in when we were around the 3% level. So you're seeing, mortgages when you go from 3% to 4.5%, that sounds like a 1.5% jump. All right. But look at it when it comes to the actual interest you're paying. Interest rates are now 10, maybe 15% higher on monthly payments than they were just a month ago. Okay. That trend looks like it's going to continue as we are continuing to move lower for the price of bonds. Let's move into oil. USO. USO is an interesting one. Got a lot of folks right here, all right? A lot of our guys talking about the price of oil, and it looks like a buying opportunity, and I cannot disagree with them. I do think that this is an interesting opportunity we have. We are going into demand season for oil, for natural gas, for unleaded gas, for jet fuel. It's hard to squeeze more people on flights than it has been before because we've dropped a lot of the mask mandates on flights. People want to get out. There's pent-up demand. They're paying the extra fees to get on a flight because of convenience. And I think that demand is going to cause this market to move higher. We are coming into an area where we're seeing what we like to call higher lows. All right. This low is higher than this low. This potential low is higher than where we were at the middle of March. But we also see lower highs. Where do we break above before this trend continues? See this peak resistance area? This is around 78 on USO. We get above 78. And I know you're looking at it saying, Tom, we're 72 right now, 72.65. 78's a long way away. Not really. I mean, it was 2 days away from 78 to 72, which happened just last week. 2 days. We could be 2 days from now, and we could be right back at 78. 78 getting above that. We get above that area of resistance, and then we're back to the races to the biggest area of the year. In fact, probably the last 2 years, just above 85 on USO. All right, well, where is all of the support? 65, 64-ish, and then all the way down here in the high 40s. That's USO. How about gold? What's going on with GLD? Take a look at GLD. It looks kind of the same, right? You got this bottom area down here and at peak support at just below 166. The big rush, big money rush coming in to buy GLD as it went up to nearly all-time highs. Then the pullback. And what's happened since then? We've got some lows, but they're higher than where we were. We've got some highs, but again, they're lower than where we were. This is a very interesting area. We've come off this, but take a look at today's high. GLD, 183.33. We get above, and the open is what I'm interested in, this 183.17. We get above and close above today's open, and then I think we got a real shot at quietly moving higher for GLD. What has Tom got on his to-do list today? I got a lot on my to-do list, okay? It involves more moving, all right? Although I'm doing a lot less now. But you know what else is on my to-do list? Buying GLD above 183.33. Now, how do you do that? I could buy the stock. I could do a number of things. But, let me just share with everybody real quick how to buy into something. When you're looking to get into something at a specified price, but not a limit order, I need this to go up, and then get in. This is what I'm going to do. So, Eric, I'm going to slide this over real quick. And I'm going to drop it right in here somewhere. There we go. All right, ready? Now, you can do this if you cannot do this with your broker, maybe you need to think about switching brokers. But if I type in GLD, all right, there's gold. All right, now I could do this a couple of different ways. What I could do is if I wanted to actually buy the ETF, what I would do is I would click on buy, and I'd decide how many shares I want to buy. And then I'm going to come down here to where I see what's called a stop order. Now, a stop order is a market order once a trigger price has been hit. If my trigger price is 183.33, this will not trade until GLD hits 183.33. Once that happens, then this immediately becomes a market order and then gets filled at best possible price. Now, the problem with this is if we're in a rush, if gold's in a rush running up, I might not get filled until, once it hits 183.33, it's a market order. Maybe I get filled at 183.50. Maybe I get filled at 184. Who knows? So if you want to put this in and get your price, then what you're going to look for is what's called a stop limit order. The stop is when's the trigger? And then the limit could be, all right, I don't want to pay more than 183 point, let's say 40 as an example. That's how you could do a way of getting in when the market's moving in your direction. All right. Now, can you do this with an option? Yes, you can. Now, let's say I decided to use a call option. And let's say I'm looking at it this week. And so I'm thinking if we get above 183.33, before by the end of the week, here's an idea. I can do this every day, but what if I bought the 182 calls? Or better yet, the 183s, because they'll be in the money if we get to 183.33. Now, what I got to do is I can do a number of things. I can put a stop order in, but the problem here is that the stop order is going to be what the option does, and this is the big question. Where's the option going to be trading at? If we hit 183.33, guess what? I don't know. I can guess. I can take a theoretical idea of where it's going to be. But how about this? How about what we do is we go ahead and do something. Now, this is something that your broker may or may not do. If you have Schwab, you can do it. If you have Thinkorswim, you can do it too. Probably TradeStation. I don't know about the rest. Don't ask me. Ask your broker. So what we could do is something called advance order. Now, advance order could be, there's a number of things I could do here, but I could do this thing called contingent on price. You see what that is? Okay, let me show you how this works. So I can buy this 183 call at the market, but only if the price of GLD increases to, you ready? 183.33. Now I can put it here. I can enable the time. It has to do it between a certain time. But you know what? I could leave this in for the whole day. I could even do this as a good till canceled. I could put this order in as good till canceled, and maybe I hang out and wait for the week, because by the time I get to, Friday, or if you think that maybe that's not enough time, maybe you need a little more time on your hands. Maybe you want the options to expire on the 22nd. Maybe you want the options to expire the third Friday of May. I don't know. This is for you to decide. But if I want to get into gold and maybe buy some call options, this is a very interesting way to do it. It's what's called a contingent on price, so that I can get into my options when gold jumps up to my price. What do you think of that, Eric?
I like it. I was just thinking that I like how you're breaking this down, showing everybody how to actually get in, because that's something that a lot of people struggle with, myself included. So taking it down to that level, I'm sure it's helpful to a lot of people in the chat right now. Let us know if Tom going into that much detail and depth was helpful to you, or if you already know how to use it. Just let us know. I liked it,
Yeah.
Tom. So thank you.
Absolutely. So what you're looking for, folks, is you're looking for a broker that allows you to do what's called conditional or contingency orders. Right? Talk to your broker, whether you're here in the States or whether you're abroad, whether you're trading somewhere around the world. You need to know whether your broker can do this. All right? Because it's not the end of the world if they can't, but what it means is you can't go. See, if I set this order up, Eric, guess what I can do?
What?
I can go jump back in this stupid thing
Yeah.
and move some more stuff. And if my order gets filled, I don't have to be sitting in front of the machine, right? Otherwise, you got to rage against the machine and stay with the machine and hit the market order when gold or anything else for that matter does what you want it to do.
I like what you did there, Tom. I like that.
All right, let's move on. So I want to now jump over to a little bit of more of a strategy session with everybody. So we've talked about, oh, you know what? I got one more. We haven't talked about VIX. So let's take a look at, or the future one, the VXX. So we've been talking about VXX on this show because it's the VIX futures. For me, I like to see what the future may hold. So I look at VIX futures. Let's look at this in the form that we've been looking at since we started this morning, and that is stock chart peaks. Peak support down here below 18. This is where I thought the VIX was really going to gravitate to. But what's interesting is the conflict going on between Russia and Ukraine is keeping this thing alive over here. It's keeping this VIX very high. And so we saw that big jump up a couple weeks ago that took us all the way up to 42. Now, that was also a problem that was VXX on its own, where they stopped the creation of these contracts, and it pushed the supply got stopped and demand stayed the same. So that's why we saw that one-day move. Okay, there's a lot more into it than that, but we crushed back down. So really, this is the high right here below 30. Here's where we are right now, 25.11. Right, what could push this higher? Well, if interest rates keep going up, definitely could push this higher. The other thing could push this higher is we are running into trigger events happening real soon by way of Q1 earnings. All right. So here we're kind of caught into that 24 to 26 area. That's where we've been the last 3 weeks, 24 to 26. We're either breaking above 26 or we're breaking below 24. That's pretty much all I got for you guys on VXX. All right. So getting back to our strategy session, Eric, if you could bring up that LMT alert, what we did, the one I talked about, that alert we saw at the beginning of the day, it said references to what's called a good till canceled profit stop. So I want to show you how you put in a limit order as a good till canceled. So I've got what's called an all-in-one trade ticket, also by Street Smart Central, which is part of Charles Schwab. Again, I don't endorse brokers, all right? I show you who I use. Sometimes I bring up Schwab. Sometimes I bring up Thinkorswim. Sometimes I bring up Robinhood. I got a small account with Robinhood. But I don't endorse brokers. I think you and you alone should decide who's best for you. And let me tell you this. Don't let getting a free share of a $1 stock make that decision for you, all right? Use who you feel is best for your needs, both online and on the phone, if you need to contact them for customer service. So we had a trade here, or we got something that we're bringing up, which is the LMT trade. So if you remember, we gave out instructions on Friday to get out of this trade for $27.55 or better. This is how you set it up. And we said, you could even make this a good till cancel order. So if you missed it on Friday, here's what it looked like this morning. So I set this up. It says good till canceled, sell to close, all right? And then your contract numbers there. But there's your expiration date, 4/22/22. The 4:45 strike, there's a call option for that. And then in the green shaded area just below, it shows order type limit, got my limit price, and I have good till canceled. That means if I happen to put this in Friday afternoon right before the bell and didn't get filled, if you put GTC in here, good till canceled, then the order stays open, and here we are Monday morning. Now, look at the green area that I have circled to the right, because if you look at circle to the right, you'll see that last price, that was $31.55. The bid was $29.90. The mid price was $31.15, and the offer was $32.40. Now, if I'm trying to get out of something, Eric, if I'm trying to sell something for $27.55 because I couldn't get out of it on Friday, do you think I got filled on that order based on what you see there in front of you?
Good till Tom.
Think of it this way. If I'm looking to sell for $27.55 and the lowest price I can sell for right now is $29.90.
Yes, you got filled.
I'm filled.
Of course.
And I'm filled at a better price. So this is a better than 150% gain coming out of it right now.
I see.
So that's pretty cool. All right. Who in here, hanging out with us live right now, did the LMT trade? That's what now, I'm going to mention this. This one was an expensive trade. All right. Ziggy did. Member did. Claudia did. All right. Who did the LMT trade? Because if you did, I mean, maybe kind of tough hanging on to something for $27.55. But you know what? Patience paid off. Patience paid off. John said too much. Price was too high. It was. I mean, you know what? And if this is your first trade, and you did it, fantastic. You made a buttload of money. Here's the thing I want to talk about, guys. I'm not a 10-cent trader. You won't see a target price that you're going to get 25% cents of profit. 25 cents is nothing. All right. Yeah, if you did it 1,000 times, maybe it is something. But we don't push for nickels and dimes here. We push for dollars. And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing dollars. Big dollars coming out of these. All right. So there you go. That's what I wanted to do. Congrats to all of you that took that trade, because that definitely puts a green in your pocket. Look at Hunter, sold at $28.35, $27.55. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. All right. So now I'm seeing here, is this order on the regular Schwab form? Okay. You can do limit orders on any Schwab form that I know of, good till canceled. But I use something called Street Smart Central. So if you go into Schwab and you log in, you go into their tools, you'll see different platforms that you can download and utilize. So I use the one called Street Smart Central. And I find it was the old Options Express order form, if you're familiar with Options Express. So there you go. All right. Okay. All right. Let's continue. We still got stuff to talk about here, because guess what? It is Microcurrency Monday. Wow. We talk about taking the air out of the room here when we start talking about cryptocurrency. Where were we last week, Eric? We were talking about 48,000.
We were a lot better than we are right now, Tom, because there's a lot of red.
And I remember last week saying, don't get too excited about this, guys. We got a lot to cover here. We could pull back below 45. Maybe I shouldn't have said it, because it happened. I'm not saying I was the cause of that. I didn't sell any Bitcoin. I didn't sell any Ethereum. In fact, the only thing that I talked about selling was on Friday. Actually, no, not on Friday. It happened over the weekend, and I said get out of this morning, and we'll get to that in a moment. But let's pop on over to some cryptocurrency charts. Now, I have a special one right here, because when you look at this chart, Eric, this is a chart of Bitcoin, but this is a 75-day chart. I took us back to those lows, those 37,000 lows, and that one area we dropped all the way in. So if you remember, we had gone all the way up to 69,000. We had that pullback that took us down into the low 30s. There's when it happened. Happened in January too, the end of January. But you can see here, what I'm looking for I was looking for the lows that occurred back in the higher lows. Not that low number, but the higher low number, because we got higher lows, we got higher highs. Then we got a higher low. Then we got a higher high. I want to get an idea of where potentially the next low is likely to be. No guarantee. We don't do that as prices here. You guys all know that. You know, I'm better than that. So we have had a lot of ketchup on the screen here. All right. I like the avocado. I like the pesto part of this chart. That's the green part. The ketchup part, we got to deal with it. So we're coming into a very interesting area here, Eric, as I'm seeing that 40,939 level being breached right now with Bitcoin. Let's get an idea where we are. And we're sitting right around, we're close. We're 40,899 as of my last print. So 40,939, if this number holds, this could be, and by the way, we could see a little bouncing around in here before potentially the next leg going higher, because we don't see anything that comes straight down and goes straight back up in the world of cryptocurrency like we used to, right? This is becoming more of an asset, even though sometimes I like to see it act more like an alternative currency. But here we go, pulling back down into that 61.8% retracement range that we see happening, pulling back into where our currency waves are pulling back as well, potentially going to give us an area of support too. This is Bitcoin. All right. Eric, you want to see Ethereum? I know you're a big Ethereum guy.
Yeah, I do. But I don't want to see all the red, but if it's there, it's there.
It gets better.
Okay.
It gets better. Let me show you what Ethereum looks like. These people think like you and I talk all day long, weekends, holidays. No, we don't. We get together just like I get together with you, Eric, just like everybody else. Maybe just a few minutes earlier as we're setting things up.
That's right.
But I have not shown Eric the chart that I'm about to show everybody. Look at Ethereum. So Ethereum, and I had that kind of double bottom happening here. We see the move higher. We see that bottom low, 24.25, the big jump up to 25.22. This is a 1,000-point move higher. 25 or 35.22, and we're now at 30.30. Look what we're at, though. We're nowhere near the 61.8% retracement yet, Eric. Take a look at this. I got to zoom this in so you can see it. So remember, Bitcoin was sitting down here at its 61% area. We are between 38 and 50 right now, which makes this a stronger coin, right? It also means it could pull back a little bit more too. But we're starting to see some potential areas of consolidation. For Ethereum, I would say just below 3,000. What's going to happen is you got some folks that are in this right now, and they're all saying, if it goes below 3,000, I'm going to sell. Well, for those of you that have stop orders in to get out, if it goes below 3,000, you're going to get hit, all right? In fact, where's the low at today? 30.15. We drop below that low, it's going to take a few people out, and I believe that could suck us right down to the 29.74 area, which could offer us some support. Next area of support is 28.44, and this is where we're expecting Ethereum to potentially go to before it runs out of sellers, okay? So I wanted to share that with you. How about one more, Eric?
All right, one more. It kind of shows there that Ethereum didn't drop as much as that Bitcoin drop. It's holding a little bit stronger, it seems.
It did. Look at Doge. Remember Doge? Everybody was all worried about Doge, and we were looking to buy more of this, and it started taking off on us. We got currency wave signals that happened, and right around the 13.5 cent mark, went up to 17 cents last week, and then it dropped. I believe this was a news item. Might have been musky, but up, down. But it's holding pretty well here around the 14-cent level. All right, now we're looking for this to get up into the 30s before we start taking some of it off. But that's where we see Doge right now. And Doge is actually outperforming Bitcoin when you look at this chart. It's holding pretty steady with Ethereum, but it is outperforming Bitcoin. And then I got one more I want to show you, all right, which is setting us up for the next few minutes. And that is Kyber, KNC. I want to take a look at Kyber for a second. Look at that move. when cryptocurrency is dropping and KNC is hitting new highs just yesterday. Okay, so last week I had some folks asking, when are we selling KNC? When are we selling KNC? Is it going to hit its profit target? And I said, I don't want to sell before the target. Well, guess what? We hit the target. We hit the target last night. And so let's get to KNC in just a moment. In fact, Eric, why don't you put up and give everybody a quick rundown. Take a good 30 seconds or so on this rundown here.
Sure.
And let's talk about these coins and where they are as of now. This is as of Friday's data. So we got a little updating to do, and I'm going to do that in just a second. So take it away, Eric.
Yeah, you take a little rest there, Tom. I'll go through these. So we have our symbols and how much gain or loss they've had. So we've had 2 for KNC. One is 128.5% gain. The other KNC is a 37.8% gain. Ethereum, a 20.2% gain. ZEC, 15.4%. BTRST, which is Brain Trust Token, a 9.7% gain. Polkadot, 4.3% gain. Bitcoin, 2.7% gain, and only one in the negative, and only by a little bit, and that is DNT with a negative 2.3%. So that all looks pretty green to me, Tom. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, and now I got to mention this too. I mean, you know, if you look, you can see that Bitcoin number is down, okay, as of this morning. So that's flipped. Ethereum is down. And so not by much more. I mean, Ethereum's holding up pretty good, but it's still up considerably from our entry price. But take a look at KNC, the very top. So KNC shows up 128%. Okay. Now, what we were looking for is 150%. That actually happened. If you take a look, 404 was the last price on this portfolio. Look where we were on my screen. We went all the way up above 450. We hit 450 again this morning. Okay. Now, again, KNC hit our 150% profit target last night. And we had a headline, and I think you got the headline of the headline, right? As to why this is going up.
Oh, I got that. Yeah, let me grab that for you here, Tom. We have that one right here. It says Kyber network KNC soars after integrating with Uniswap V3 and Avalanche Rush Phase 2. The price rallies in excess of 50% after expanding access to 10 blockchain networks and an integration with the Uniswap V3. Kind of makes sense why they went up so much.
Yeah, exactly. It makes exact sense. You know, these guys doing that integration really brought a lot of folks over. And let me tell you what happens here. You know, when people are buying KNC and you're seeing that rush of money that's coming in, that's not all U.S. dollars. There's people doing their own Uniswap, all right, where they're swapping Bitcoin for KNC or they're swapping Ethereum for KNC. And so they do this. You know, for instance, take a look here. This is a chart of KNC, as you can see here on my price charts. And if I were to come over and I were to look at trading once again, I could go in and type in KNC. So if somebody wanted to buy KNC, they could do it with U.S. dollars, but they could also do it on Coinbase with Bitcoin. So all they're doing is swapping one for the other. All right, so no pun intended with the Uniswap, Eric. I just want to talk about the coin swap.
Of course.
As to how one can go higher and one can go lower when you're tilting into one coin and tilting out of another. You're becoming the offer on Kyber and you're becoming the bid on Bitcoin when you're doing it that way. All right. Kind of interesting when you look at it that way. So, you know, back to levels here. You know, we talked about, we were talking about cryptocurrency. We were talking about KNC. KNC hit its level. All right. Levels on Ethereum, I gave you. Let's go ahead and look at these. These are shorter term levels. Once again, ETH. Let's just take a quick little look at it. I'm seeing 29.74 and potentially 28.44 as holding areas. We came really close to 29.74 earlier today. That might hold. I just feel like there's going to be a little bit of selling into that 3,000 number to pull out all the suckers who are going to be right below that mark, just below 3,000. And then, of course, with Bitcoin, let's get back to BTC. And I'm going to share those numbers with you one more time. It's really one number. The number I'm looking at is that 40,939, which we're just below right now. We'll see where this ends up at the end of the day. All right. Getting to the last quarter of the show. So, Eric, instead of waiting until 12:25, let's start with some questions right now. So what do you have for me?
Oh, yeah, of course, Tom. I think that's a good idea. We have a bunch right now that are from the chat from the other day, and we're always looking for something from the chat from you guys as well as on YouTube. Currency Waves Explained. Peter G. in Naples is asking, what is currency wave signal, Tom?
All right, so currency wave signals, what we do is it's a version of moving averages. Only what we do is we optimize those. So for instance, if you take a look here, and this is another no pun intended, but take a look at the cryptocurrency waves, okay? Today it opened at 23.15, high was 23.46, low 22.22, and currently trading around 21.57. That's not what I want to show you. What I do want to show you is look at this downtrend in waves. See the purple line and the blue line? So these are short. The purple line is a shorter term currency wave. Blue line is longer term. There was a cross right here. Didn't last very long, but then look at this cross. This currency wave crossover occurred somewhere just above 10, and it ran all the way up to 60 before dropping, and we see the crisscross happening again. Today, it's on the sell side, so we're looking for waves to drift lower. But I get waves of selling and buying crossovers. All right, these currency waves are crossover waves. Each currency acts a little different than its predecessor and then its other currencies. And therefore, what we do is we look at special, individualized, kind of like a fingerprint of these currency waves that are optimized for each single individual cryptocurrency. But I want you to think about it as two different currency waves, two different moving averages where they crisscross back and forth, giving us bullish and bearish signals. Not the only thing I use, okay? It has to match up with something else. Just because two moving averages cross does not give me a buy or sell opportunity, right? But if it, in junction with something else happens, then bam, we're going to be all over it. All right, Eric.
All right, thanks. We have another one about hard wallets, Tom. I'm not sure if you use hard wallets or not. I know that Nick talks a lot about them on his show, but what's the best hard wallet for holding your crypto? Do you have any recommendations for that? Any that you like?
I'll give you, I don't know if it's the best, but I'll give you the one I like.
Okay.
The one I like is this one right here, which is a little Ledger wallet. This is what's called the Ledger Nano. And, it has a little charging port on it, but it tells me basically what my crypto is right here. I can plug this into my laptop, and with private keys, passwords, etc., I'm able to look at it in greater detail. I can move things from the hard wallet to an online wallet and vice versa. If you want to know more information on it, ledger.com is where you want to go. I have it on the screen. It's your money, own it. And I'm not only that, but I'm going to pop it right into the chat box for everybody. There you go. I'll put it into the announcements board. There you go. And finally, let's not leave out our YouTube group. Here you go, guys. Ledger.com. That's the wallet we're looking at here. So there you go. That's Ledger. Again, it's what I use. I would say find a hard wallet that works for you. These guys have a very secure hard wallets, and it's something I've used for quite some time. In fact, I have an old Ledger Blue that I used before I upgraded to the latest, which is a nice little even thinner thing. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to hop in and say that's probably the most popular one that most people use. It's been around for a while. It works well, and it's not crazy expensive. I know that Nick uses another one. It's called Engrave, but it's kind of crazy. Like you have to engrave your passcode into a piece of metal. It's probably not the most realistic for people that are, not holding a good amount or a ton of crypto, but it is another option as well. But this is the one that you'll probably see most people using. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I
that's the
like
one I
it.
use right there, the
Yep.
Ledger Nano. And then I saw somebody that it flew. Here it is, one of the members out there. And give us your name, guys. We'd love to call you by your name and not your number. But it says, do you not like Coinbase's wallet? Love Coinbase's wallet. Actually use it. That's an online wallet. So there you go. All right. Anything else for me there, Eric?
Oh yeah, I got one actually from the chat that I just grabbed, Tom, and this is from Malacesia. Do you think AGIX and Singularity DAO will trade on Coinbase soon? What are your thoughts on that?
If I knew that,
I know.
if I actually knew that, Eric, I'd be all over those, because you know what happens when they go on Coinbase. I mean, that day they pop like crazy.
Yep.
I would love to be in some sort of an ICO before they show up on Coinbase, but honestly, I don't have that kind of information, guys. I wish I did. I would share it with you. And you know me, I'm a back runner. I'm not a front runner here. So anything I share with you, I don't do until after I share with you. Okay.
Good man. We have another one. Do you have anything from YouTube that you'd want to pull in?
You know what? Share what you have for me, and then I'll hunt through the YouTube channel.
Okay, sure.
See what we got here.
How about this one? Trade will time. So is it better to have Coinbase or Coinbase Pro? This is something I feel like we tackle this one every show.
We do.
So, but I mean, I think they're both really good at this point in time, and I personally think it's what you're the most comfortable with. But do you think anything different from that?
Yeah, that's it. So I used to have both, and then what was it, a month or so ago? Coinbase did two gigantic things. First thing they did was they added, so if I decide I want to trade something like KNC, all right, let me bring KNC up here real quick. So if I want to trade KNC now, I don't have to just trade it at the market. There are other things that we can do with KNC. We can do limit prices. We can do stop limits now. There's you have control you didn't have before right there on Coinbase itself. You can still use Coinbase Pro, but Coinbase now does everything Pro did, and it also does it at the Pro prices. That 60% off, 65% off price that we used to say you got to go to Coinbase Pro to get, you can get that at Coinbase now. Even if you do the market orders, even if you just do the regular trade order, that one where they give you the ability to automate deposits and to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum on a weekly or monthly basis, they're now doing them at the lower prices. Now, that's not so good for Coinbase itself if you're a shareholder, because obviously they're getting less when it comes to their profitability. Their earnings are going to be lower because of that. That's also part of the reason why the stock has been in a downtrend and has been having trouble staying above and getting up and really getting above that $150 mark. But that's I'd say use the one you feel comfortable with, because they're both doing it at the same price and they're both doing the same things now. So let me see what I got going on over at the Tube. Got a lot of folks that are kind of good morning. Hey guys, how you doing? Why not spreads? I think we might be talking about something with the stocks. I can tell you, Claudio, if you're mentioning the volatility stuff that we do with Surge Strike, okay. If you do a spread on something where you're looking for a pure volatility play, the problem with that is if we're getting in and we're expecting high volatility by spreading, what's happening is that the high volatility you're going to make on the buy side, you're going to lose most of it on the sell side. So we want to do spreads when we expect more of a maturing to happen. All right. I like spreads in a lower volatility environment, simply because I'm looking for price movement, not volatility movement. And that's really the big reason right there. So see what I'm looking here. Buy direct from Jeff, thank you so much. I want to mention this real quick. Here's a public service announcement for you. Ledger Nano and all the stuff, when you're buying something like Ledger, you do not want to buy it from a third party. You do not want to buy it from Amazon. Trust me, I know you guys, if you're like our family, you love using Amazon. Although the refund policy is getting a little tougher now. But if you use Amazon, don't use Amazon to buy ledger wallets, because that may not be coming direct from the manufacturer. It could be coming from somebody else who might have stuck something on there to get your coins. Let's not do that. Let's buy direct from the manufacturer, from the vendor, which is ledger.com, or whoever you're buying your hardware wallets from. Make sure you're getting them from the vendor itself. Okay?
That's an important one for sure. I have another question here, and it's kind of about Coinbase as well. Does Coinbase allow portfolios like Coinbase Pro?
They have wallets, and each wallet you can put a number of different coins into. But yeah, I mean, that's the way I do mine. Is I actually have I have wallets of different coins, different coins and wallets. But if you're talking about a portfolio like a basket of coins, like let's say the big coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, and it would trade for X, or smaller coins would trade for Y. They don't offer that right now, Eric. You buy the coins on an individualized basis.
Fair enough.
Right.
I have another one because the chat is active today. You want it?
Let's do one more.
Okay, you got it. One more, and it's from a member that has yet to change their name. They must be new. What's the safest gold or silver stable coin in your opinion?
Wow. I don't trade stable coins on assets like gold and silver. If I want to own gold and silver, I do it two different ways. I have my own physical coins. To me, that's the safest, absolute safest. Get your gold and silver coins, store them in a safe deposit box, store them in a safe, right? Or store them at the vendor you bought them from. If not, ETFs like GLD and SLV would be my next guest. But I'm not going to tell you what I think the most stable gold and silver or precious metal coins are out there in the world of crypto, because I don't use them. All right. And so that brings us to pretty much getting to the end of the show. So guys, top picks. My top picks right now, I am looking for bullish levels to occur on BTC, on ETH. Right now, typically what we do on Mondays is we look at Bitcoin stocks. We look at stocks in the world of cryptocurrency, but we've run out of time for that. I will do that again next week with you. All right. But I'm looking at those stock chart peak support points on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay. Those are the most important points I'm looking at now, because again, I want to see the tide that's likely to lift the majority of these boats. And yes, KNC was a boat that lifted unto itself. And congratulations to those of you that took that profit. We'll have more. I can assure you that. All right. We are doing our best to grab as many of those profitable opportunities as we can, because you don't go broke taking a profit, especially in the world of cryptocurrency. Now, for my microcurrency members, I got to let you know this. I'm taking the afternoon off today. All right. So we got nothing new really to report to you when it comes to microcurrencies. If we have a trade, if me and the team do have something that pops up today, we'll email you on that. Okay. Otherwise, I'll be back next week at 1 o'clock. Till then, keep an eye on your inbox for any new trades we have. And then remember, tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in here and we're going to do something called Trigger Event Tuesday. And I'm going to talk about trigger events. I've got 22 stocks on the radar. We're going to talk about all 22 of those in something I like to call backmasking. So if you missed my special event last Tuesday, join me here, 11:30 tomorrow. I'm going to do it in what I call the quick down and dirty, but we're going to do it in backmasking mode. I can't wait to see how that turns out, because I'm not prepping it. All right. So we got a big stack of trigger events to talk about. We'll do that tomorrow, 11:30. I'll see you all again tomorrow, 11:30. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, everyone.